Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to our social studies lesson for today. We've been discussing the American Revolution, and we are going to continue our discussion on the consequences of the American Revolution. And if we could just all focus and zoom in on this right here. This is our objective today, is to understand that state constitutions that were established after 1776, which was the revolution, the beginning of the revolution, they embodied the ideals of the American Revolution and served as a model for the U.S. Constitution. So we're going to be learning about state constitutions, the U.S. Constitution, and also the thing we've kind of touched on before, which is the Constitutional Convention and what we were using before the big Constitution came to be. All right, so I'm going to start with this. So I want volunteers to answer this question. I want everyone to think. Imagine yourself in this situation. Our school has been chosen to populate an island that has been around forever, but no one has been there. So our school, our families, we're going to go set up and live there, all right? Our class has to be the ones in charge. So we're really lucky that we get to be like the rulers of this island. We want to do it right though. We want to be thoughtful. How are we going to know what to do? What can you think of? What would we do first? And how would we set up a government on that island? Anything come to mind? Ireland.
Maybe try to find like a leader.
Okay. Find a leader. I like that. Find a leader. Okay, what else? How would you decide?
Vote.
Okay, so as a class we could vote. Okay. We could vote in leaders. Okay. How are we going to know what to base it on? What types of things could we use to, would we start from scratch maybe? Develop a whole new system? Develop a whole new system? Okay. Yes, Bradley? Oh, okay, so you think we should have a big meeting and get together. Okay, so we'll have a big meeting. We would have to have meetings, right? All right, how would we know what to do? Okay. All right, Penelope, research. That's very, very good. So we could do research. Sorry, my pen is not working so well, students. So we do research, we would have meetings, we would find a leader. Anything else come to mind? Oh, Charles, you asked if it would be part of the United States. No, it's a whole new country, completely different from anything else. But we could use information out there, right? It's not like we don't have information about what other people have done. So we could take a look at other things that people have done. All right? All right, very good answers. I appreciate all of your answers. All right, thank you, Chuck, for passing me that pen. All right, so I like these answers. We have find a leader, do meetings, vote, do some research. And that's exactly what happened in the United States. We separated from England. You recall all of our other studies on the American Revolution. We were a brand new country, We didn't have a king, no king. People were going to rule themselves. It was a radical new concept. It's kind of like our situation if we were on an island and had to make things up. But there were some really, really intelligent, educated people who came together and made these big decisions, all right? So, in line with that, we are going to go watch a video. Ireland, would you go start the video for us, please? Class, take a look at this. Sarah, would you get the lights, please? Thank you.
It is the
Avril?
spring of 1787. The Revolutionary War has been over for only 6 years, and the young United States is still struggling in its infancy. Uprisings, boundary disputes, and the lack of a common vision all plagued the newborn country. In an effort to steady this precarious ship, the Confederation Congress calls on states to send delegates to the Grand Convention to begin on May 14th in Philadelphia. The delegates must draft revisions to the Articles of Confederation, which would then be considered by the Congress and approved by the states. Under the terms of the Articles, all 13 states had to agree to any changes. Since the purpose of the convention is just to make recommendations, not everyone is excited about attending. And frankly, some think it's a waste of time. As men from different parts of the country began to travel down dusty, rutted roads on the way to Philadelphia, not all states send delegates. In fact, Rhode Island never even shows up. On May 14th, only 8 delegates, not states, but individual delegates, are present. So they wait. Finally, on May 25th, the necessary quorum of 7 states is achieved. In all, 55 delegates arrive in Philadelphia over the course of the convention. They are all white males, property owners, and the average age is about 44. Some are slaveholders, some had signed the Declaration of Independence, and almost all are well educated. Picture the delegates, James Madison and George Washington among them, sitting in Independence Hall in hot, humid Philadelphia. They're all wearing the dress of the day, frock coats, high collars, and thick pants. They vote to keep their discussions secret to encourage honest debate. But that means the windows are closed, and there is no air conditioning in 1787, not even an electric fan. And they'll sit in that sweltering heat in those heavy clothes for 3 months. Shockingly, they all keep their vow of secrecy. That could never happen today, not even for an hour-long meeting. Someone would share, James Madison thinks he's so smart, keyword, articles are dead, via social media, and the whole thing would be a disaster. But in 1787, there are no leaks, not even a drip that hints at what they are is nothing short of overthrowing the very government that sent them there. Within a few days, with only a 7-state quorum, and only 6 of those states agreeing, a handful of men changed the course of history. They vote to get rid of the Articles of Confederation and write a new, more nationalistic document that becomes our Constitution. The risk is immense. Everyone on the outside assumes they were working on recommended revisions to the Articles. It's an incredible gamble, and even when the convention presents the signed Constitution on September 17th, not all delegates endorse it. The country will argue and debate for 2 more years before the document is adopted by the required 9 out of 13 states. But instead of punishing them for their deception, today we celebrate the wisdom and vision of those men in Philadelphia.
All right. So, that's interesting, and I kind of learned a couple of things in that too. I like how they said nowadays it wouldn't really be possible for something like that to happen, but they created a system that was so different from anything else, and yeah, it's fascinating. So, what I'm going to do now is lecture. I want you guys to take notes as I lecture. Open up your social studies binder. I'm going to give you some information about 3 things, and we're going to be doing this craft, which I'll show you in a minute. These are puzzle pieces, and it's showing how these things are connected. The Articles of Confederation, state constitutions, and the U.S. Constitution. All right, I'm going to be handing out these puzzle pieces for you. You'll each have 3, and I'm going to tell you exactly what to write on these puzzle pieces, all right? And so, Ireland, can you hand those out to the class, please? All right, that's good. Now that they're all handed out, I'm going to fast forward here. I want to give you our notes, all right? So please have your pencils out and get ready to write. And we've been training on how to take notes, so do your best. First of all, the Articles of Confederation. The Articles of Confederation was the first written constitution of the United States. Stemming from wartime urgency, its progress was slowed by fears of central authority and extensive land claims by states before it was ratified on March 1st, 1781. Under these articles, so this is what the original country, before we had the Constitution, we were separated from the King of England, we needed to figure things out. So we had a temporary document that kept us together. Like if you were on that island and you were like, oh my gosh, people are coming tomorrow, let's get something in place. This was the initial document, okay? Under these articles, the states remained sovereign and independent. Sovereign means independent. They were on their own and free. With Congress, there still was a Congress. It served as a last resort for appealing disputes. Congress was also given the authority to make treaties and alliances, maintain armed forces, and coin money. So they had some power. There was a loose Congress that helped all of the states all together. But states had more power. The central government lacked the ability to tax, to regulate commerce, and issues that led to the Constitutional Convention in 1787 for the creation of new federal laws. All right, so since the document was imperfect and they lived under it for years, they realized its shortcomings and they thought, we've got to do something. All right, we've got to do something like we saw in the video. So they came together. All right, state constitutions, the second piece of our puzzle. After the Revolution, the states had to figure out what the rule of the people would be. The early state constitutions and how they were drafted would inform the process and the resulting document that would be the U.S. Constitution. All right, they will now have to figure, where do we go? The colonies are free of Britain and Parliament and royal